Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning in to the day's energy, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Hope this reading finds you happy and healthy and enjoying your journey to becoming more and more yourself. All right, let's take a look at the overall energy of today's reading. We've got the Two of Swords, confusion, a fog of confusion, an internal fight, usually there's a third option than what's being perceived, and that's why it's confusing. Feels like a lot of being up in your head, trying to figure something out. Trying to find the answers in your upper chakras when your upper chakras don't have the answers. What's causing this fog of confusion? What's causing this Two of Swords energy? Okay. Judgment reversed, Seven of Pentacles reversed, and Six of Swords reversed. Alrighty. Let me make some space here. A lack of judgment, criticism, lack of expansion, heavy judgment, being judged harshly. And Seven of Pentacles in reverse is my card for pulling your energy back, pulling your attention, your energy, your focus, your investments in time, energy, money. So it looks like a harsh judgment, harsh criticism has you pulling your energy away from a situation. And Six of Swords in reverse is unable to move to calmer shores. Feels like this harsh judgment, criticism is very confusing and has left you a bit rattled. Kind of feels purposefully. Tell me about this judgment reversed. What does the viewer need to know about this judgment reversed energy? What would be the most helpful? Okay, Eight of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, Page of Swords, and then Tower. Feels like this is around work. Something that you do, something that you're good at. Eight of Pentacles is my card for hard work, just putting the work in. The guy on the Eight of Pentacles is just keeps doing the same thing, creating that pentacle over and over. Time to make the donuts. Rihanna's Work, 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 Work song often comes out with this type of energy. You just get into work, putting the time and the energy. And when you do something again and again and again, chronically, you reach a level of mastery in doing this thing. So it looks like this might be around work. There are pentacles at stake here. And Ten of Swords coming out with the judgment. So someone's judging your work. Someone's judging what you do in a very critical and judgmental way. Overkill. It's, I'm hearing a football. Unnecessary roughness. 10-yard penalty. it's a lot. It's a lot of criticism and overkill. Page of Swords. I get two things off the Page of Swords. There's something about immature communication and learning from this. Learning from this immature communication. It creates a tower. A false perception is shattered. False reality is shattered by this experience. It feels very confusing. Tell me about this false reality, the tower. This feels like the tower is what I'm describing. A very confusing situation. Tell me about this tower. Tell me about this false reality. Eight of Cups, Sun reversed. A lack of clarity, a lack of happiness. There's a lot of emotions attached to this. It looks like you walk away. Sun in reverse. There's a lack of clarity, a lack of light. So it feels confusing. Two of Swords. There's confusion. More confusion because there's a lack of clarity. It doesn't feel authentic. It feels like there's a lot of emotions and a lot of communicating from those emotions, and you're the target of someone's judgment. All right, let's continue. For those of you who recognize these energies and are interested, let's keep going. All right, in the hidden blessings, we have the Hanged Man. Feels like you're in a vulnerable position. This is a blessing. You're in a vulnerable position and you see something. You can't move. It feels like it's tied to this confusion. There's something about this false reality feels like projections. Someone's projecting something onto you. Their reality onto you. So when someone projects their reality onto you, they're not really connecting with you authentically. They're projecting their unmet needs onto you and expecting you, a lot of expectations here, to meet their needs. Be cooperative to how they're perceiving you. They're not wanting to see you correctly. This feels like someone who operates in projections. And when someone doesn't cooperate the way they feel that you need to behave, because they've got an idea that they've projected onto you, a false reality. And when you don't behave in that way, then there's all these unmet expectations and hurt and blame. It looks like you're able to see this from a hanged man position. Feels like you're vulnerable. And you can see this. It Feels like this energy comes in when you're more vulnerable as well. Looks like I'm talking to somebody who has reimagined their life and is going after what they desire and what they're creating. Taking action. Very passionate. And there's something about this type of energy that it looks like in how you're reimagining your life, this type of energy, this type of unconscious agreements, expectations, a need for you to fulfill a role for someone else and fulfill someone else's needs. It doesn't feel like that's communicated. It feels like someone is projecting something onto you. And in this new space, as you're taking action and creating a new you, you're not wanting to take this type of energy with you because it feels like a burden when you have projections on you. When someone's needing you to be something for them, perform in a way that's pleasing for them, and they don't want to really get to know the full you or want to connect with the authentic you. They need you to perform. And this performance is to meet their unmet needs that they don't express and aren't able to communicate. But they're very punishing and critical if you don't comply to how they are perceiving you. You might feel this energy in your space as extremely draining, exhausting. Psychically, energetically, it looks like a force field, kind of see-through, but it comes into you. A lot of times people project stuff on the outside of your aura. That doesn't really bother me that much. But it's when someone projects into your aura, into your energy, and there's controlling mechanisms. This is how I need you to be for me. There's no care about the other person. It isn't about connection and reciprocity. It's about getting unmet needs met. You might, when you feel projections come into your energy, it's exhausting, depleted. It's hard to manage your emotions because there's someone else's energy in your space, and you can't work with other people's emotions. You can work with your own energy, but not others. The same way energetic cords, if you have a lot of energetic cords, the root cause, instead of just constantly cutting cords, the root cause of energetic cords is that you are also participating in that energetic exchange. So the more people are cording into you, you need to look at where you're cording into others. The more you pull your cords back and allow people to be who they are instead of trying to control things, then the less cordable you are. And the same with projections. If you have a lot of people projecting onto you, you might be participating in that dynamic of projecting your unmet needs onto others, not seeing them as Bob, Frank, Charlie, Tina, whoever as an individual and getting to know them, but assigning a role and having someone outside of you fulfilling your needs, depending on them to fulfill those needs. So the more I find projections in my energy, the more I pull back, pull my energy anywhere I'm projecting onto others, even unconsciously. Once I started doing this, I was able to see and feel when someone in real time was projecting onto me their beliefs, their story that they wanted me to agree to. And it's easier to push that energy out of my space because I don't engage in projections. Let people show up every time in present time and show me who they are and get to know them in that time, not expecting anything from them. All right, what you're leaving behind is the Ten of Swords. Painful endings, punishing. This feels very punishing. Punishing communication. This is the second time the Ten of Swords has come through. And with the World card in reverse, it feels like this energy is getting louder as it's leaving your space. So the projections might be really loud. Come back to you, do energetic separations, find your own energy and boot everybody out of your space and out of your energy. So you can find where you are and what your energy is. And then when energies come in, then you can recognize. I do that often, all the time. Because you're always shifting, always changing. And so you also meet yourself freshly and newly, or you can, each day. And instead of creating some expectations for yourself as well. That's an interesting message. All right, so you're leaving behind painful communication, punishing. People who are punishing because you're not behaving in a way that they feel that you need to show up for them. This feels like a lot of unconscious agreements and expectations and projecting a lot of stories, which creates a lot of confusing emotions. A lot of confusion. All right. Boy, again, Ten of Swords and Page of Swords came up in the overall energy with the Eight of Pentacles in the Tower. And now we've got it repeating. Ten of Swords in what you're leaving behind. And then how to get the most of this energy is that Page of Swords. Learn as you go. Figure out this communication. It feels like you're figuring out a new way of being. You've reimagined your life and you're getting back out there making moves, and it looks like you're learning your lessons. You're figuring this out, figuring out what works and what doesn't. And this type of energy doesn't work. It's very unconscious behaviors, very unconscious way of getting needs met. It feels demanding, punishing. Feels like someone comes in with all their burdens and expects you to make it all right. there's a lack of clear communication of needs and expectations. But when those aren't met, then it's a very punishing exchange. And it creates a tower, a collapsing of that false reality, of that illusion, projection, delusion. There could be some delusions in here, because this type of energy isn't really connecting with others. Devil in reverse on the bottom of the deck. They're not really connecting. They're just trying to get their needs met and projecting savior energy onto you, or that you somehow need to do something for them. It feels confusing even reading this, because it's illusions, delusions. All right, you've got the strength, and it looks like this is helping you gather more confidence and inner strength. You're figuring this out with Page of Swords. You're learning a different way to communicate. Feels like you recognize someone was draining. And ooh, High Priestess reversed, 3 of Pentacles reversed. High Priestess upright has unlimited potential. She keeps things to herself, and she's got her back turned. So this is very secretive. This is inner thoughts, inner imaginings. It feels like this person doesn't have potential, can't see things. They don't have that unlimited potential. They're not going after what they desire. And it looks like they don't work well with others. 3 of Pentacles in reverse. They might have financial difficulties. This is also my card for the group projects. Someone who is responsible for those group projects. Remember in school when you do group projects and your grades depended on everyone collaborating, and whoever really cared would do all the work, give the presentation, and the others just rode their coattails, didn't do any of the work. And that's what this feels like. It feels like someone who is not collaborating. They're not doing the work. They're expecting to ride your coattails, to do all the work. It feels like it's related to kind of where they are energetically. It feels like someone who financial difficulties, can't figure out how to work well with others. Maybe it's because they're expecting everybody else to do all the labor and work for them. You're definitely figuring out how to manage and work with or cut out this type of energy so you don't have to work with it. Yeah, what's supporting you is Chariot in reverse. Not making moves, not moving on. I get the feeling that you're cutting this energy out, not moving on with it. You can't make moves with it. There's so much stagnancy here. With Chariot reverse, it's like you can't move. Someone can't move on from this. 7 of Cups in reverse. There's so many emotions. They don't have options. This also feels like it's for both parties. Can't move on with this. It's an unworkable energy. Someone who communicates in a punishing way, judgmental, with a lack of clarity, then the intentions, when you get to the intentions of their communication, it's not for resolution. It's not for understanding. It's not for connection and growth. It's for punishing, decimating, annihilation. And once someone shows me that, I don't know how to come back from that. I don't want to work with and be around people who are punishing and aren't curious or interested about what the issue is, and instead create a false reality, conflating. That's what this feels like. It feels like someone's false reality has collapsed. I don't know if this person can take personal responsibility or accountability. They've got a lot of perfect pictures too, a lot of judgment. So at the root, this person's probably wildly self-judgmental, like perfect, needing to be perfect. And so they're expecting perfection, whatever that idealized projection is, onto others. And they're needing others to make them feel a certain way. And when that doesn't, without expressing those needs or wants, just feeling entitled to it, expectations, and a lot of unconscious agreements is what I'm reading. All right, what to be mindful of is the King of Cups. I think this is helping you with your emotional maturity, how to work with unworkable people. It's not your job to teach everybody how to be. This feels like a very unworkable type of person. 10 of Pentacles twice, 10 of Wands. They want their hurts to be yours. They want you to carry their burdens. These feel like the unconscious agreements. All right, anything else that would help the viewer? Two of Cups reverse. Not a good match. Not a good match. And I think there's wisdom and maturity in just recognizing who's a good fit and who's not. Wow. Four of Swords, now the King of Cups again in reverse. It's about, this is emotional maturity that's coming in. There's emotional maturity and figuring out who works well with you and who doesn't. And you don't have to vilify them. You don't have to make so much judgment and punish to leave an environment. You could just leave. You don't have to completely decimate and punish what doesn't work and who doesn't work. You can leave and learn and heal, right? That's an option. And so with Four of Swords, that's healing. Time to take a step back, to rest, relax, take care of yourself. This is also communication card. It's in reverse, it's my cutting communication card. Upright, it still feels like healing from this very immature, emotionally immature person. Someone who feels like You're responsible for their emotions. You're responsible for how they're feeling. Anything else that the viewer needs to know about this? Okay. This is a lot, so I'm going to just tell it like a story. It looks like you are in Wheel of Fortune energy, luck, flow. Things are really going your way. It looks like this person has been in a comfort zone, stuck in their thoughts, their own projections, keeping them stuck in a comfort zone. This feels like ego, keeping them stuck so they don't look at themselves and then take any accountability or self-reflection. This feels like someone who's stuck in beliefs that they're perfect, they need to be perfect, and everybody else sucks. That's what I'm getting. And so it's just creating a very painful experience in their life, needing to control and needing everyone to fulfill their unmet needs for them, when that's an inside job. That's their job. Okay, it also looks like you're very adept financially, stable, not just even financially, but you have a lot of stability, a lot of security, a lot of abundance. You're creating something. This person doesn't know how, doesn't have the energy, isn't taking any of the action to do what you're doing. But they're connecting with you and in a foolish way and expecting you to kind of like elevate them to your level. That's an inside job. You can influence someone's energy temporarily. They can feel your energy, reflect, meet you, maybe match you for a little bit, and they feel that change. But change has to come on a vibrational level first before change happens out here. And if someone else is depending on you to buoy them in any of the chakras, to support them, then they're tuning in and connecting because they have unmet needs they don't know how to meet themselves. And they're projecting onto you their unmet needs, and that you need to meet these needs. You need to meet their expectations. And there's a lot of confusion because all of a sudden there's a lot of unconscious agreements. This person's just reckless, can't figure out a different pattern, a different way of dealing with life other than through this way of operating. It makes them, the lack of emotional intelligence and projecting blame and punishing does not make this person a safe bet, a safe person. So I'm going to continue on. If this has been your reading and you're very interested, you can continue on. There's a link in the description box below. It says extended reading here. That takes you to Patreon, where I'll be looking at health, relationships, creativity, new opportunities, and career and finance. So thank you all so much for being here. Hope to see you over on Patreon. If not, have an amazing rest of your weekend.